in body and or spirit for our opening hymn, Gathered Here 389. We are going to sing it through once, and then we're going to do 2 verses as a round. We'll start on that side, and then in the middle, follow me, we'll start on the second side. But one through once, and then around twice.
Good morning. Hello. I'm Aubrey Phillips, Secretary of the Board of Trustees. We especially want to welcome our visitors both on campus and over live stream. We invite visitors to participate in any of our events here on campus or online, and we welcome you to find out more about us and Unitarian Universalism. We also invite you to consider registering in our virtual guest book, which you can find via a link on the top of our homepage marked Welcome Visitors. If you're here in person, there's a sign-up sheet for visitors in the courtyard at the welcome table. And if you do sign up, we'll send you our weekly newsletter and Zoom links for our virtual events. As always, we invite you to join us for coffee and conversation after the service in the courtyard. We look forward to getting to know each other. A couple of announcements before our service today. On Wednesday, this coming Wednesday, May 22nd, the Democracy Action Team will be meeting in the Lexow wing and on Zoom at 6:30 in the evening, talking about how we can take action to help preserve and sustain our democracy. The Arts Council is also pleased to present the paintings of Liz Cole. Her acrylic and handmade collage paintings are exquisite explorations of the intensity of pure primary colors. Liz considers her paintings memory shards, glimpses of past places and experiences, which she brings to her paintings through the visual context of bright colors. Please join us after the service for a reception in the Lexow Gallery.
Just a quick reminder about our meeting right after the service. For those of you who are interested in knowing what happens behind the curtain back there at the end, back of the sanctuary, if you know how to use Gmail, you're qualified to help us back there. One of the jobs is as simple as being able to read and push one button. Now, granted, some of the jobs are a little bit more complicated. We'd be glad to teach you. It's really a heck of a lot of fun. So please join us after the sanctuary. We'll see you there.
And I'm pleased to welcome up on stage our musical guest today, Sanaya Carroll. Always lovely to have you, Sanaya.
When your heart is low, I feel the magic grow. It's alright, you just take your time. There's no hurry now that you are on your way. When you're learning how to fly, no more wandering around, step up off the ground. You will find you can glide on by. There's a magic place and it's waiting just for you. Now you're learning how to fly. You've always known that this was not your home. You've been looking for that place where you won't feel so all alone. But now the time has come for you to fly away. So breathe on in and breathe on out, and you'll be on your way. Watch the ocean rise, say your sad goodbyes. Don't be shy, go ahead and cry. There's a light to guide. Now you're really on your way when you're learning how to fly. Now you are flying, rising, soaring, floating on that blissful ocean. Everything you ever wanted now. You're learning how to fly. Freedom comes when you are soaring far away from cares and longing. Take this moment, open up your eyes. You're learning how to fly. You've always known that this was not your home. You've been looking for that place where you won't feel so all alone. But now the time has come for you to fly away. So breathe on in and breathe on out, and you'll be on your way. You are higher now, so much lighter joy. You just have to go to a better place than you ever known. And now you're learning how to fly. Now you're learning how to fly. Now you're learning how to fly. All right, yeah. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Reverend J. Wolin, settled minister here at the Unitarian Universalists of Sarasota. You saw me wearing a mask. I just want to let you know I'm on the tail end of some sort of cough, so I just want to finish my antibiotics, but I just want to be extra careful. I won't be shaking hands today. Our opening reading, this year I've been doing a series of services on the new Article 2 values and other aspects that are proposed for changes at our General Assembly. One of those other changes is what our sources of inspiration are, and it's being changed to a phrase called inspirations, and it reads, direct experiences of transcending mystery and wonder are primary sources of Unitarian Universalist inspiration. These experiences open our hearts, renew our spirits, and transform our lives. We draw upon and are inspired by sacred, secular, and scientific understandings that help us make meaning and live into our values. These sources ground us and sustain us in ordinary, difficult, and joyous times. We respect the histories, context, and cultures in which these sources were created and currently practiced. Grateful for the experiences that move us, aware of the religious ancestries we inherit, and enlivened by the diversity which enriches our faith. We are called to ever deepen and expand our wisdom. As we light our chalice now, please join me in affirming our fourth principle, which is in the order of service and on the screen above you. A free and responsible search for truth and meaning.
Before I start our story today, I wanted to say my inspiration this morning was listening to Sanaya Carroll. Thank you so much for your beautiful voice. So, today's story is The Fantastic Bureau of Imagination, with words by Brad Montague and pictures by Brad and Christy Montague. Welcome to the Fantastic Bureau of Imagination. Apologies, but humans are not allowed to see the outside of our secret headquarters. It's highly classified. You will just have to imagine it. Most of our agency business is handled by curious creatures known as figments. Every figment you'll meet here is a special agent and carries a very official Bureau of Imagination badge. This one is Sparky. He's the figment responsible for all our mail here. Every letter, package, idea, or complaint coming in or out of the Bureau must pass through his very busy office. But there's something that the other agents do not know about him. Sparky loves to write poetry. He writes poems about his dear friend, Rascal the Dream Puppy. He writes all about the big feelings inside of him. He writes poems about how scary it would be to share his poems. You see, Sparky has never shared his writing with anyone, ever. Instead, he throws himself into his very big job. And he always starts the day by going down the official tubes and through the whooshcalator, over the cave of untold stories, past Brenda, who never gets mail, and makes delivery after delivery to agents throughout the Fantastic Bureau of Imagination. The Department of Dreams are always excited to see Sparky. His magic mail bag can carry dreams of all sizes. And when he delivers new equipment to the Department of Noticing, he is cheered. These agents listen for wishes as they're made on birthday cakes, dandelions, or stars in the sky. Ideas from all over the world are delivered to the makery, where figments can experiment and create samples of anything that can be imagined. And all was rather routine until Sparky went down the official tubes, through the whooshcalator, and over the exploding cave of untold stories. Wait, what? Exploding? Sparky froze. Every day he's been secretly relieved that Brenda did not receive mail because he was frightened by her teeth and scales. He imagined she might eat him, or laugh at his hat, or laugh while eating him and his hat. And very much afraid, he knew he had to do something, so he dove down to help. "The cave of untold stories is overflowing," cried Brenda, "and the entire bureau could collapse. All the stories that have yet to be told, all the songs yet to be sung, all the parties yet to be planned, and all the problems yet to be solved, they're all pouring out. Ideas are not just meant for having and holding, but sharing and living and doing." Well, Sparky tried to put some of the pieces of the cave in his magic bag, but it was just too small. He looked at all the wonderful things that had been imagined. There were symphonies and performances, marvelous inventions and ideas for brightening days. All of these wonders were just hiding away in a cave. And as Sparky gazed at the mess, his eyes noticed something familiar. A large stack of poems he recognized as immediately. "Oh no," he thought, "part of the problem is me." So he flew to his office and quickly began to write. "Hello, humans. We need you to be bold. There are too many stories that remain untold. There's still so many good things that haven't been done. Agents of imagination are needed, and you can be one. This is your invitation. Tell fear to get out of the way. Beautiful tomorrows can begin today. You must all dare to dream, but must also do, for dreamers are many, but doers are few. Imaginatively yours, Sparky." So the figments in the makery created copies of Sparky's letter, and every agent became a recruiting agent. Some humans found invitations under their pillows. Some humans found reminders in nature. Some humans found the message in a picture book. Sparky's words found their way all over the world. And soon, untold stories were finally being shared. Songs were being sung, dances were danced, problems were being solved, and the cave of untold stories became calm. And everyone gathered to celebrate Sparky and his friends because their work had added more imagination to the world and more agents of imagination too. And they all lived happily ever after until Brenda ate Sparky. No, just kidding, just kidding. Sparky wrote a daily poem for Brenda, and here's one of his poems. "We imagined things we couldn't see. We worked together and made them be. Maybe this is how the whole world mends. Wherever there is fear, let us imagine friends." So, if you're hoping to get a glimpse of our building, it's classified, remember? Plus, it's too dark to see now. You'll just have to imagine there is light, because that's what a good agent does. So get to it. Find your inspirations wherever or whatever they may be, because there's plenty of life left to imagine and create and do. The end. Or it could be, unless you will take the FBI pledge with me. Say it with me. I will imagine. I will help and I will play, because beautiful tomorrows begin with what I do today. So I now invite the children and youth to join their teachers in their classrooms where they explore what sparks their imagination. And if you're new here, no worries. Come with me and I'll show you the way. Thank you.
about tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow. Clear away the cobwebs and the sorrow till there's none. When I'm stuck with a day that is gray and lonely, I just stick out my chin and grin and say, the sun will come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're always a day away. The sun will come out tomorrow. Bet your bottom dollar that tomorrow there'll be sun. Just thinking about tomorrow clears away the cobwebs and the sorrow till there's none. When I'm stuck in a day that is gray and lonely, I just stick out my chin and grin and say, oh, the sun will come out tomorrow, so you gotta hang on till tomorrow. Come what may, tomorrow, tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're always a day away. Tomorrow, I love you. Tomorrow, you're only a day away.
Just a beautiful version of that song, really, yeah. So our centering in words today are from Marianna Williamson. Interestingly enough, on the internet, oftenly misattributed to Nelson Mandela. I don't know why. And actually, I first heard it in a movie, Coach Carter, about an inner city basketball team, and so I got curious about it. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory that is within us. It is not just in some of us, it is in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our fear, our presence automatically liberates others. As we go into a time of silence, I ask you to contemplate what fears you need to be liberated from. So our opening reading is a proposed inspiration section that, if passed, would replace our current sources of inspiration that is in the UUA bylaws, which I know we often talk about our principles, but I want to make sure we share with you now what our sources are that are currently listed. The living tradition which we share draws from many sources. One, the direct experience of transcending mystery and wonder affirmed in all cultures that moves us to a renewal of the spirit and an openness to the forces which create and uphold life. So part of that very similar to what was at the beginning of the inspiration section. So also, just to be clear, forces that destroy, deceive, and kill would not be a source of inspiration from which we draw from. But it is first and foremost, I want to just point out, direct experience. How do we experience the world that we live in? How do we experience the wonder of our existence? Two, words and deeds of prophetic women and men which challenge us to confront powers and structures of evil with justice compassion and the transforming power of love. And I believe they have changed that, I'm sorry, to the words and deeds of prophetic people, which challenge us. I often dwelled on how we confront with love. I always thought that was an interesting phrase. Some people have the confront part down really well, and many people have the love part down really well. But bringing those two together is what counts. Often the disconnectedness of confrontation and love leads either to anger and violence on one side or to the other, extreme passiveness. 20th century Indian civil rights activist Mahatma Gandhi called his nonviolent civil disobedience satyagraha. Gandhi said truth, satya, implies love, and agraha means persistence and force. And I thus began to call the Indian movement satyagraha. So that is to say, the force which is born of truth and love or nonviolence, and give up the use of the phrase passive resistance, for there is nothing passive about what we are doing, end quote. And this led me, that statement, that study of Gandhi led me to a deeper meaning of what our second source means. Third, wisdom from world's religion, which inspires us in our ethical and spiritual life. Now, this one is fairly broad. It was a transcendentalist in the 19th century that first introduced Hindu and Buddhist texts to America. It points to our understanding that other religions have wisdom, and we should never limit our wisdom to only one way of experiencing our existence. Number 4, Jewish and Christian teachings, which call us to respond to God's love by loving our neighbor as ourselves, end quote. So there are some passages within the Jewish and Christian scriptures that certain denominations have used to harm people, and that is totally unacceptable. Liberal religion, though, should not be indifferent about this, right? We need to be knowledgeable and not only speak against it, but to speak for the message of loving our neighbor, the message of the golden rule, which is found in some form in almost every religious tradition. Number 5, humanist teachings, which counsel us to heed the guidance of reason and the results of science and warn us against the idolatries of the mind and the spirit, end quote. Religious humanism is a foundation for Unitarian Universalism, particularly on the Unitarian side, focusing on our work in this world with human participation in and interdependence with creation, which leads to our 6th source. Spiritual teachings of earth-centered traditions which celebrate the sacred circle of life and instruct us to live in harmony with the rhythms of nature, end quote. This source was added after the first original 5. It is a source that I think resonates with many. As the environment we live in, our blue boat home, the earth, becomes more and more fragile and toxic, we have come to realize that our interdependence with the world includes needing to understand it, to learn from it, and to become one with it, to hold it sacred, for it does provide life for us. Those are the 6 sources. They were voted in 1985, the 6 sources of our living tradition. But again, living tradition means ever-changing. And under the proposed Article 2, the thought was that that list could never be fully comprehensive and inclusive, so they attempted to simplify and generalize the wording. But whatever the wording, there are many, many sources of inspiration, and I encourage you to think about what sources inspire you the most in your religious life and why, or even in your non-religious life. One of the things that inspires me week after week after week, yes, is your generosity as we take our offering. And for those online or here on your cell phone, there's a link in the YouTube video as well as a QR code in the order of service. Let this sacred time begin. So for our next reading, between this and the Marianna Williamson, I'm just picking readings that were inspiring to me. And this is a Desiderata, which was written by Max Ehrman in the 1920s. I read this early in my life amidst the noise and confusion that accompanied growing up in New York City. I do keep a book of readings, which now I keep on my computer, my personal scriptures, if you will. And when events in my life become uncertain, I return to it like an old friend waiting for me to remind me of how to be in the world. Go placidly amid the noise and the haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence. As far as possible, without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. Speak your truth quietly and clearly, and listen to others. They too have their story. If you compare yourself with others, you will become vain or bitter, for there will always be greater and lesser persons than yourself. Enjoy your achievements as well as your plans. Keep interest in your own career, however humble. It is a real possession in the changing fortunes of time. Exercise caution in your business affairs, for the world is full of trickery. But let this not blind you to what virtue there is. Many persons strive for high ideals, and everywhere life is full of heroism. Be yourself, especially do not feign affection. Neither be cynical about love, for in the face of all aridity and disenchantment, it is as perennial as the grass. Take kindly the counsel of the years, gracefully surrendering the things of youth. Nurture strength of spirit to shield you in sudden misfortune, but do not distress yourself with dark imaginings. Many fears are born of fatigue and loneliness beyond a wholesome discipline. Be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe, no less than the trees and the stars. You have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive God to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace in your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. And once more, Sanaya Kara.
Isn't this an inspiring day? Don't you feel better than you did when you came in? That's the whole idea. Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Sun up in the sky, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. It's a new dawn, new day, new life for me. And I'm feeling good. Fish in the sea, you know how I feel. Rivers running free, you know how I feel. Blossom in the tree, you know how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life, and I'm feeling good. Yes, I'm feeling good. Dragonfly out in the sun, you know what I mean, don't you know? Butterflies are having fun, you know what I mean. Sleep in peace when the day is done, that's what I mean. And the whole world is a new world and a bold world for me. Stars, when you shine, you know how I feel. Saint of the pine, that's how I feel. And freedom is mine, that's how I feel. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life. It's a new dawn, it's a new day, it's a new life for me. And I'm, and all of you, feeling good.
Well, that makes me feel good, I tell you. So in this reflection, I'd like to share with you just some of my personal sources of inspiration. Judaism was a religion that I was born and raised in, so the stories within them hold a special connection for me. Not in the way I was taught them as a child, but in the way I interpret them as an adult. Making that leap, though, was important, and Unitarian Universalism gave me the environment to explore them with an open mind. Judaism was the source of my passion for social justice and the foundation for living a disciplined, ethical life. Buddhism is the source that helped me determine how to live in the world. It helped me learn not to cling to expectations of my outcomes, of my actions, but to focus just on taking the right action with the right intention in any given moment. My first deep understanding of Christianity, earth-based tradition, and evolutionary spirituality came through programs at my Unitarian Universalist congregation. And in addition to more traditional religious experiences, I thought about who were the sources of inspiration in my personal life, people. So my first thought was my family. I don't know when I was young whether I looked at that or recognized them as sources of inspiration, but my grandfather certainly was. He would constantly and consistently fill my head with notions that I was capable of doing anything I put my mind to. A notion that has stayed with me through every change in my life, every up and down, every crazy idea that I had, like becoming a minister. Although I don't know what he might have thought about that being an Orthodox Jew, but that's another story. Plus, he taught me how to become an expert gin rummy player. I never won a hand with him, but he would always show me what I did wrong, and so that when I played other people, I became very good. I actually made some money on it in college with that skill. Both of my grandmothers, both of whom pinched my cheeks way too much. Please don't do that to your grandchildren, please. The one on the right here would feed me any food I wanted whenever I wanted it. That was a lovely thing. The one on the left, my mother's mother, Lillian, was an ardent socialist, some even whispered Trotskyist. She fed my mind with ideals of fairness and justice. A widow raising 2 children alone. She was the most generous person I knew. Generous with her time and with her money. She showed me you don't have to have a lot to be generous. Generosity is an attitude, she would say, and she would always convince me to give up my allowance to the food shelter. Always. She was very good at that. My parents, they brought me into this world, and for that I am forever grateful, and they prepared me for this world. One of the many things they taught me was the appreciation of education and the arts. And I know it's funny, they retired and they sold everything they had and bought an RV and just traveled when that's what it was, just this attitude of you have to enjoy the moment, which is made more funny because we never camped our entire life. Now, my uncle was truly a mentor to me and helped me through many troubled times and taught me never to draw hoping for an inside straight playing poker. He, like his sister, my mother, taught me as well to truly enjoy life. They both of their father, my mother and my uncle's father, died when they were, very young children. And so they learned how, in a moment, in an instant, life can change. And so you should enjoy every moment that you have. Now, my brother and sister are the blessings of my existence. I wouldn't have said that when I was a teenager, I'll say that, but coming from a small family, they are the people who in this world, if I needed help, with one phone call, they would be here the next moment. My friends from the Bronx, people who did walk with me, they grew up short in the Bronx, I don't know. But people who did walk with me through the valley of the shadow of death, people from whom I learned about loyalty and courage and duty and true friendship, still my best friends to this day. My wife, who has exemplified patience in love, as like Don Quixote, I go off chasing windmills. My children, who I show here at a much younger age, I think it's the way I always want to remember them. No, that's my grandchild. Back to my children. Those are my children. Right. Back to, I want to remember them at a much younger age when they were more innocent. From them, I have probably learned more about myself than any other person. How did I want to be in the world? How did I want to raise them? And their experiences in the world as people of color actually helped shape my worldview as well. Now, my granddaughters, there are 3 of them, always reignite my spirit within me and my hope for better things to come in the future. Look at just the joy on their faces. And they all lived with me the first 2.5 years of their lives, and it was always the greatest experience of my life. There are many, many more, but let me just say also as well, it is you, this congregation, which are the people here. You are a major source of inspiration for me. First, you're calling me to be your minister. Your faith in me to be your religious leader is deeply meaningful to me. I honor that, and I work hard to live up to that faith that you showed in me. With every kind gesture, with every insightful word, with every generous act that you perform, you are a source of inspiration. On a national scale, as a child, I would say F. Lee Bailey and William Kunstler were sources of inspiration. I read Bailey's autobiography, The Defense Never Rests, when I was young. I think I just liked the title, The Defense Never Rests. Always fighting. That's why I was impressed. I would always take on the most difficult cases that no one else would take on. And they showed me that people with power had to stand with those without power, if justice was ever to be realized. Martin Luther King Jr. is still a source of inspiration because he showed that in this country, nonviolence could create change, right? That despite being bribed and threatened, he kept to his principles, and he was willing and did sacrifice everything for his principles. Nelson Mandela, who by his actions taught me that it is possible not to hate your enemy. I admit this is the hardest thing for me. Despite being locked up in jail for 27 years, he befriended the guards who imprisoned him. And upon his release, he not only did not seek retribution for years of atrocities, but instead he sought reconciliation, for he knew that he needed to withhold his personal feelings for the greater good of something larger than just himself. So for that kid in high school, okay, I finally forgive you. Okay. So I would like to also, as I spoke before, the arts are a major source of inspiration for me, and I think religion as well. I often like to say anything secular can be sacred with the right perspective. Art provides us images and possibilities of our inner longings, to explore our pain, our suffering, our hopes, our dreams, and the absurdities that life presents us with. My favorite song when I was younger was Badlands by Bruce Springsteen. I sang this at karaoke last year. During the times of my life when the universe pushed back, these were the words I kept going back to. And they kept me going. And I quote to you, I believe in the love that you gave me. I believe in the hope that can save me. I believe in the faith, and I pray that someday it may raise me above these badlands. End quote. Unitarian Universalism provides the opportunity to search without judgment, to explore without a commitment to a specific outcome. And I believe in the love that Unitarian Universalist provides to create that safe space. Unitarian Universalism provides the opportunity to learn to live with love and hope in our hearts, to challenge our way of viewing the world and to live out our values in the world. I believe in the hope that Unitarian Universalism provides for us so that one day humanity may live in a just world. I believe in this faith of Unitarian Universalism that has raised me up and changed my life in small and large ways. And I pray for the same for each and every one of you. For it is here for all of us, as Springsteen says, for the ones who had a notion deep inside, that it ain't no sin to be glad you're alive, end quote. So for all the English teachers here who cringed at 8, I'm sorry, but it is rock and roll, okay? So Unitarian Universalism affirms that we are not born in sin, that life with all its joys and all its sorrows, life itself is the miracle. Living life and engaging fully in life is what makes life fulfilling. Unitarian Universalism is that place that doesn't look through you, doesn't overlook you, but provides an environment for you to explore and express the deep meaning of your life. So for those of you who have walked through the valley of the shadow of death, who have struggled mightily just to get some breathing room in this world, maybe you've been betrayed and find it hard to trust others. Maybe you've been on your journey alone for too long. It's easier to walk that road with others. And to paraphrase another Springsteen song, he writes, the road is dark and it's a thin, thin line, but I want you to know I'll walk it with you anytime, end quote. Because when forces and challenges of this world push against you, you need others to help lift each other up. No one does it alone. For those who hope for more, we need examples, we need models of how to overcome the long odds, how to overcome adversity. We need sources of inspiration. We need to find the models for our own lives, for our congregation, for the larger community. And sometimes it seems so big and the odds seem stacked against us. But we can point to experiences where David beats Goliath, where truth overcomes falsehood, where justice is served, and where compassion is a lived experience. We can all point to that here. We as a religion, as a congregation, as individuals can be that model. May it be so. And now I invite you to rise in body and/or spirit for my favorite hymn, my most inspirational hymn, 118, This Little Light of Mine. Thank you. Our closing words are from Osho, an Indian spiritual teacher. Whenever you have the opportunity to laugh, laugh. Whenever you have the opportunity to dance, dance. Whenever you have the opportunity to sing, sing. And one day you will find that you have created your paradise. Please join me in extinguishing our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you all for your presence here today. Go, do good, be happy.